Howdy, how's it going? Roxy Carter here on All Aboard Wisdom for you today. I got another great show, another great podcast. I sure hope you're binge watching these. We started a thing since these all these other stations come on. They have like episodes and episodes, and then you sit there and you stare, and it says, and they stop right at that point. And think, oh, what's going to happen? Well, I'm going to binge watch to the next episode, and you realize it's 3, 4 in the morning. So I've realized that you also can do podcasts like this that are so exciting that you can actually have groups of people coming over to your home or get togethers after dinner, whatever, and then have a thing where you're having dessert or popcorn and pop, whatever you're doing, and binge watch 3 or 4 of my Roxy All Aboard Wisdom. They are fun, they're entertaining, and there's something for everybody. So, it's not somebody's going to be left out like, oh boy, I have no idea what that topic would be. I guarantee you there's always stuff on there that will really trip somebody's trigger. So that's a fun way to spend an evening. We're having, especially since now summer, a lot of things aren't on TV, reruns. So, hey, I'm not a rerun, so you really should enjoy these. So today's topic, you're going to love it. I'm so excited to do this one. It's on attraction. Now, we all know what attraction is, right? Now, it's a wonderful thing to have. There's a problem is, what if you're having a not healthy attraction to something or to someone, and you don't even know it's not healthy? Now, I'm going to talk addiction. We're talking what I'm attracted to. So we're talking about you looking at another person and you're saying, hey, is there attraction there? So let's find out. We're going to call it a magnetism and attraction, like you put two magnets together. And sometimes when people get together, one will repel the other and say, hey, no way. There ain't no way, Joe, we're going to be doing that one. So let's go look at things about the attraction. I have some little bullet point notes here that I want to go into. I always have bulletproof. No, they're not bulletproof. Bullet point notes here, because I really don't want to miss anything I really want to say. So this keeps me right on track with everything I'm thinking and I'm seeing here. Well, first thing, people do get a stereotype in their head. So if you've never been married before, you're a teenager, or you're an adult, or you've been married, you're divorced, you've been engaged, you've never been engaged, it's your first time out trying a dating site, or you're just going to venture out for the first time and throw a little makeup on and do a little foo-foo to your hair, or a guy's going to start getting a new haircut. But you want to go out, and what are we going to learn today about attraction? So it's very important, even about what you've already attracted and what's fair and what's not fair to the mate that you've already attracted. Some things you might be saying or doing that really aren't playing very fair. So what do I say about Roxy? I'm Greek, I'm fair, I'm square. I give you all the facts. I go raw. I say things that nobody else will have the guts or the cha-chas to say, but I will. So let's look into it. So one thing I just heard recently, and as a life coach, and that's what I am, I heard actually heard 2 different times in about a month. Yeah, I only like people with blue eyes. Oh, if they don't have blue eyes, that's a turnoff. So, so the right person that comes along, the right person you're supposed to meet, date, maybe marry. What do they have to go get? Flipping blue contacts so you'll be happy with them? I want you to realize there are some people that have a very shallow side to them, and you need to figure out why they always have to have, let's just say, you got to have blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? Come on, I want you to realize that's pretty way out there. The other thing is where people have all this stuff. Well, I only like certain kind of hairstyles. I only like women with long hair. Well, what if the person's going to be your life mate, get along great with you? They have a pixie haircut, they got a under the chin haircut, whatever, and you're basing it all on how long their hair is. Probably because you're somebody watched some romance movie one time where some model had big long hair and she was throwing it over her shoulders and it was beautiful on her pillow or whatever it was. Now you decide, if I'm going to get a woman, boy, she better have that long hair so it'll be all pretty and spiral and I get my fingers caught up in it. I just want you to know that is a little bit on the shallow side, like very shallow. Okay. That's what you're looking for in a relationship. I want you to really think about that one. Okay. So they don't have the right hair color, whatever. Maybe their lips aren't thick enough. Maybe they don't have big balloon lips. So I don't know, if I get somebody, I better go out and have their lips all plumped up because I like somebody with full lips. I saw in a magazine, the things I'm looking at, I like all the ladies, the guys, and say, oh, they have really pretty full lips. That's what I want. I mean, come on now. I mean, really, you talk about superficial. I'm truthfully, have you even looked in the mirror yourself for a while and you all these demands on what you want and what's attractive to you? Oh my heavens. I want you to think about this. There's a little bit of a shallow hell. If you ever saw that old movie called Shallow Hal, watch it. Because I mean, it's a pretty shallow hally kind of thing going on there, even with women that do this. And I got a lot to say about this here too. So, um, there is a whole bunch of stuff on here. Well, first thing is, you have to look at, let's see, where do I want to talk about? A few things here. When you get somebody, there are things that if it really repels you, don't think, well, I'm going to look the other way because I'm desperate. If it's something really repels you, but think I'm going to look the other way. So if somebody has really bad breath, you can always offer them a breath mint. Okay. But again, we've eaten onions or whatever happened. And I'm Greek. So we like to have garlic, onions, oregano. I mean, we go the whole enchilada. And then, I do pop I do a Tums once in a while too, but a little breath mint. And sometimes I don't if my husband and I are eating the same things. But the thing is, there are things that you can't change. There are people who are born with smelly feet. There are people, no matter how much deodorant they use, they're going to have a certain body odor. So if you're somebody that you're going to gag and have a gag reflex and whatever, and the person that you're with is very clean, it's just that their feet sweat, they have a lot of sweat glands in their feet, and their body, they have a funky little body odor. And, maybe you can, hint they wear a little bit of cologne or whatever, a different type of a deodorant, a little cornstarch on their body. But if you get into the place where you start tearing somebody apart, that they don't even recognizably look or anything like themselves, what are you doing with them in the first place? Now, I heard somebody just recently say, oh yeah, I only like really, really tiny, short women. Well, so the real person that the God has ready for you could be like, what, I don't know, 5'6", 5'7", or up. Oh yeah. Well, if they're not short, you got to pull out the measuring stick. If they don't have that, if they have too light a skin or they have too dark a skin. I'm never gonna have a redhead, never gonna have a blonde. I only like dark hair. I want you to realize, you want to talk about shallow? My God, that is shallow. I mean, this isn't like you're going into a candy store. You're acting like you're in a flippin' candy store and you're picking out candy to throw in a bag. You're talking about a life mate. You're talking about somebody that you want to go and enjoy and share your life and your time with. So I want you to realize that. I've actually heard somebody saying that I would never date anybody if they wore glasses. Well, how do you know they don't have the contact lenses? Well, if they wore glasses, that's the end of that. I mean, I want you to say this really, really does need to change, because the shallowness is a real problem. But what is attracting you? That's the thing. So you have to ask yourself, is it where he must be tall, dark, and handsome? He must have big shoulder. He must have big biceps. He must this, he must that, or she must have these big boobs and she must have that. I mean, it's a crazy world. I mean, even to the point where they're saying, if I have a mate, they better have the nails, they better have the eyelashes, they better have this. Or the other extreme, oh, if I get somebody and they know they met you, they really like you, but you like makeup. Well, if I get her, I'm going to get rid of that makeup. I'm going to get rid of all that. I'm going to scrub her down. I don't like this or that. So don't go after a person if that's what it is. But I also want to talk about another group of people. There are people that are very, very desperate to have a relationship. And they are willing to, with these attractions or not attractions, they don't care. I'm just going to settle. And when they settle, they might get you. And then what happens, because many times people who do settle, they're very controlling. I don't know. I keep seeing this over and over. You'd think it's not that way, but it is. The very desperate people. I need. I got a boyfriend. I got a girlfriend. Yay. I got a boyfriend. I got a girlfriend. Yay. I got a fiance. Yay. I mean, it's ridiculous. It looks nuts to me. Okay. It really does. But I'm not supposed to say that as a life coach. It looks nuts. Okay. And they go on and on and on. But the point of it is, they want to change them right away. Hey, why don't you do this with your hair? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? They want to like cut and paste or something like it's something on a computer, cut and paste that you don't even resemble yourself anymore. But they want to say they have something, but it has to always be up to their standards. Now, can you imagine somebody picking you only because you have a certain kind of body shape, or, and all of a sudden you put on some weight? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to throw you away like a paper ball? Well, they're going to start making fun of you and calling you fatty? Come on. Are they going to call you? Is a woman going to start calling you, hey, beer gut? Is the guy going to come up and go, hey, what's all this stuff jiggling back here? I mean, come on, let's get real. So I want you to understand when you, about attraction, how about getting whatever this stuff is that we're so thinking we're attracted to, or we've been looking at too many magazines, or some people out there, you're into your porn magazines. I'm sorry, but if you think you're going to get a girlfriend or a wife, or the women are looking at the other one and they're trying to get somebody who looks like some fireman in a strip club or something, I mean, come on, you really don't deserve to have a relationship. Why don't you have a relationship with your magazine? How's that? Does that sound too rough? I don't think so. As a Greek girl, that's what I would say. Go have your relationship with the magazine and have fun. Okay. But if you want a real person and you want really attraction, I think it's very important. These things are very important if you want to have a lasting relationship. First, I want to get out of the way that you have to realize that if you're longer, the older that you are, people do come with kids. You have to decide if you are going to marry somebody with kids or date somebody with kids, because there is a lot that goes along with it. Okay. And it's not fair. You're going to pick me or the kids. You're going to pick me or the kids. That's some kind of a real sadistic person. There's something wrong with them. They should never have bothered with a person if they really dislike kids that much. Okay. Because you aren't going to be their daddy or their mommy to those kids. They got a daddy or a mommy. Okay. The other thing is age. Let's get over this age things. For years, young, these men, I mean, I don't think they own a mirror. Haven't they looked at themselves in a long time? These old geezers, you know what I'm talking about? Them old farts, let's call it that. They have for years, they want the 25-year-olds. They want the ones they can barely walk. I mean, they're in terrible shape, and they're popping these pills to, those little blue pills or whatever they're doing. I don't know what are. Usually the only women who are paying attention to them are the women who are money. They get their nails done. They get to go to the spa. They get to get massages. They give them the plastic card to go shopping. But I mean, what I'm saying to you is for years and years, the men always were like, a lot of them are older, but they wanted the young ones and actually got rid of their wives and traded their wives who had the babies, the stretch marks, cooked their meals, did everything for the kids. They traded them in for this, the young bimboetta. I call them bimboettas. Now, I do want to say that the world has changed. Now, if you have somebody in your life, two can play. It's not always the older guy that get the younger girls. Today, many males, many younger males have had it with the real bird brain type of the women. They want to run around in the micro mini skirts. They're 50 years old, or they're younger or whatever. Of course, men are visual. They're going to want to look at things that are nice and appealing. But I'm going to tell you, today, men are getting smarter and wiser, and they are also now starting to look at women who are older. Now, I'm not talking about some lady, they got to take her to the nursing home at the end of the day and they're 25 years old, but I'm just saying age does not matter. Age does not matter. It's mentally who you are attracted to, mentally who you have things in common with, because it's ridiculous when you're with somebody for whatever attraction, or you've got them for arm candy or whatever's going on. That is one of the things that I think are very, very important. The other thing is with attraction, don't get desperate. When you're so desperate, you will just pick anyone or anything, just to say you showed up at the show, you have somebody to eat dinner with, whatever. Don't get to the point where you're desperate. But I also say, don't get to the point where you just go on and lead people on, or you lie to them about yourself just to have somebody next to you. That's a very, very, very bad trait. I just want you to really know that. So it is important if they do have children. That's important if that's something that you're willing, because you are going to have a whole different storyline if you marry or are dating people with kids. The other thing is, you have to, when you're dating someone and you're serious, make sure that you do not really loathe and detest their in-laws or look at them as the outlaws. Because remember, you are in a degree marrying the people in the family. At some point, you do have to be around them, and there are some really obnoxious ones, okay? But remember, you're with the person. Be very clear about it, why you feel like that. And if it really bothers him or her that much, maybe then you're not right for each other. Okay, so all these things need to be taken into to look at, but don't just be rigid that I'm only going to go for the short ones, or only the tall ones, or only this or only that. Keep an open mind. Attraction has to be heart to heart. It has to be what you like and what you both enjoy. So that's all I had to say about that today, and we'll do a longer one next time on attraction. What works, what don't. Subscribe. Roxy Carter, over and out.